Hey there, Three Rivers folks. Let's see, what is today? Today's Wednesday, and a couple things. Number one, my wife convinced me, and it took some convincing, but after much weeping and gnashing of teeth, um, recognized that the 9-minute videos are probably too long. And so she suggested 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm going to try to do this in 2 to 3 minutes. So some information for you. Number one, first Sunday, which is where we do the teaching on some, we've been studying biblical theology and or hard topics. On October the 14th, I know that's not the first Sunday, but I mentioned this last week. That's the second Sunday, but we're going to do first Sunday on October the 14th, and Jennifer and I are going to do this one together, where we address some topics particularly related to other cultures and race issues, where particularly we as evangelicals and predominantly white evangelicals, how we interact on social media on certain hot button topics, particularly when we're looking at it from a perspective that is uniquely ours, perhaps. And it's contrary to perhaps the way other people see it. And if we say things or post things in a certain manner, or that say certain things, there will be folks of different ethnicities who will see that, and they would never come to our church because they would see us as a place that they would not be welcome. And so we want to bring those things to our attention so that we can be a welcoming place, because we are about Jesus and his kingdom. And it is a multi-ethnic kingdom, and we want our church to look like that. So we want to be aware of those issues so we can speak to things appropriately, so that we can speak in a kingdom manner, with God's perspective and not a political perspective. And so we're going to address some of those things on that first Sunday. All Saints Day, where we do a biography of a saint. This year we're doing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That's going to be on November the 18th. And I know that is a couple of weeks after an actual All Saints Day. And that's because our students are going to be away on a fall retreat that first weekend in November, because the previous weeks were completely booked. Snowbird. And so we're going to do Dr. King's biography on Sunday, November 18th, so our students can be present for that. So be looking for that. That's going to be very important. And then finally, this morning I was invited to come and be present at one of our middle schools, and by some teachers and FCA students, huddle leaders, were leading prayer time at Model Middle School. And it absolutely did my heart good to watch these middle school students break off into groups, and certain ladies and young men leading others to pray for their friends, that they would know Jesus, that their school would be a place that is amazing, that they prayed for our country, they prayed for our city, prayed for their friends, prayed in Jesus' name, prayed that Jesus would be known. And I was just reminded of something. I've held this conviction for a very long time. And that is, when people say things like, we kicked God out of school, or you can't do this or that at the school, those things are just not true. Number one, there's some serious doctrinal problems with the idea that we kicked God out of anything. God's the sovereign creator of the universe. As a matter of fact, Ezra chapter 1 reminds us that God was working through Cyrus the king. He's not a believing king, but God was working through an unbelieving king to bring about his purposes for his people. You don't kick God out of anywhere. He's the omnipresent, always present God of the universe. He is the king, and you don't kick him out of anywhere. So laws can be made and may be made for various reasons to try to stop certain things, but the reality is God's never kicked out of anywhere. God works through unbelievers to achieve his purposes for his people. And so the harsh reality is, God's not kicked out of anything. And the good news is God is present, and Jesus Christ, by his Spirit, is at work in our schools. And to hear our students praying and to see teachers supporting those students is absolutely astounding. So I want to encourage you today that in Rome-Floyd County, all across the county today, students were gathered around the flagpole for See at the Pole, or in their gyms, praying for their friends, praying for their schools, praying for their nation. It was absolutely astounding, encouraging, did my heart good to see that. I want to share that with you, that God's at work, and don't believe the lie that we kick God out of anything. And so if we're a benefit and we love people appropriately, we can pray anywhere, and we can serve anywhere, and we can share Jesus with anybody anywhere. So great news. Be encouraged, Three Rivers. Keep up the good work. Look forward to seeing you guys, college students tonight, and see you Sunday morning. Grace and peace.